Let's do a British sitcoms tier list. So here's my categories. We've got Best of Britain, Great, Good, Bad, Are We Sure This Is an American? So let's get into it with the first one, which is Drifters, which I kind of feel is like almost like a slightly older version of the Inbetweeners, but with girls as the main character rather than boys. But I thought honestly Drifters was pretty good. I wouldn't say it's great or Best of Britain, but it's an enjoyable watch. You get a good few laughs, and the episodes go pretty quickly, and I think it's now available on most good streaming services, so it's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. Then we've got Trollied, which is set in a supermarket, and it's basically what happens, like the behind the scenes of a supermarket. I don't know if this came out before or after Superstore in America, which is very similar, but Trollied was really good. Ran for 8 series, but kind of lost its way in a couple of the series, but overall I would say it's a good show as well. Then we've got Outnumbered, which I would say is a great show and would be Best of Britain had it carried on like the first 2 series.
What's a twat? Twat.
So the reason the first 2 series were so good was the fact that the kids were basically just improvising, and the kids who play Karen and Ben were absolutely fantastic and came out with some of the most hilarious scenes and lines you've ever seen.
Cheese and bread for its journey to heaven, or at least if it goes to hell, it'll have cheese on toast.
But as they got older, the show got more scripted, and eventually it kind of just lost that magic it had in the first few series, and the Christmas specials since haven't really lived up to the great name that was Outnumbered. So for that reason, it has to go as great. If it carried on being what it was like in the first few series, then it would definitely be in Best of Britain. Then we move on to Derry Girls, which I've got to say is also great. It's really up there, really fantastic show. My only problem with it is we didn't get as many series. I would love another couple of series. It was absolutely fantastic. Some hilarious moments.
I said be sexy, not be a fucking bullfisher.
But yeah, for me, just has to go in great, as we needed a bit more for it to be Best of Britain. Then we come to Gavin and Stacey, which has to be Best of Britain. This is one of the best sitcoms of all time. I mean, it may be up there as the best. The first 3 series were absolutely phenomenal. Then we've had the Christmas special since the 2019 Christmas special, which left us with one of the biggest cliffhangers in TV history.
Will you marry me?
And then we had the finale this Christmas, which was absolutely spectacular. I haven't seen many shows have a finale that is that good. It's an amazing show. The characters are brilliant. The one-liners are fantastic.
She just sucks me in. She's like a Dyson.
I mean, people will daily quote Gavin and Stacey lines, and the fact that it only had, like, there's 3 series and then there's the Christmas specials, not even 30 episodes, but has left this much of an impact and made Barry Island a place people want to go to. It has to be Best of Britain, and everyone has their favourite character, whether that's Nessa, Smithy, Gavin, Stacey, Mick, Pam. I'm sure you know who your favourite is, but for me it has to be Best of Britain, and this has to go down as one of the best TV shows of all time. Then we've got Lovick, which is, I think it started on Channel 4 and then moved to Netflix, which is basically about a guy who picks up an STD and then has to go and ring all his previous partners and for them to tell them basically to get checked. But when he goes and does that, he then reminisces about what happened with the girlfriends. It was an enjoyable show. I'd probably say it was good and nothing more than good. Then we've got White Gold, which I'm going to put as great. Maybe move it even to Best of Britain, but I'm going to say, like Derry Girls, didn't have enough series. So White Gold is basically if you mixed the Wolf of Wall Street with the Inbetweeners. It has a bit of the Inbetweeners cast and Ed Westwick, who is basically the Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, they basically sell PVC windows, which is why it's called White Gold, but it is hilarious, such a good show, has a really good story behind it, and I mean, if you like the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, which I really did enjoy, then this is the absolute perfect show for anyone who enjoys comedy and like The Wolf of Wall Street. It's really good. Ed Westwick, I've got to say special mention to him in this show. He is absolutely unbelievable.
Like I told you, page 1 of the training manual. Never leave the house without closing the deal.
So for me, it has to go as great. But if they'd had maybe a few more series, I don't know why it got cancelled so early on, then it would definitely be in Best of Britain. Then we've got the UK Office, which again is great. And I mean, it inspired the likes of the American Office, inspired the Australian Office. But I mean, the Australian Office just give that one a miss. But this is where it all started. It's a absolute fantastic show, and it started all these like mockumentary sitcoms that we see, especially across the pond in America. So we wouldn't have half of them without this show. It's really funny, really great, but for me, just great, just misses out on Best of Britain. Then we've got Brassic, which I'm gonna say is great as well. It's fantastic. It's a show about a group of friends who get up to some criminal activities, shall we say, but there's some shenanigans along the way, but it's always hilarious. The cast are absolutely fantastic, and you will be laughing all the way. I've only got halfway through so far, but every single episode has been really enjoyable. The only problem for me is it was only available on Sky, so you couldn't really watch it for so long if you didn't have Sky or Now TV. But now it's on Netflix, you should definitely go and watch it. So good. Then we've got Fresh Meat, which I'm also going to say is great. This is a show about university students going through university. So if you are in university or have just been through university, then this show really works, as you will find all the scenarios they talk about in the show probably happened to you at some point in university. Whether that was deciding what parties to go to, whether that was trying to cram in for an exam that you'd totally forgotten about. All these things appear in the show, and all the uni shenanigans, and they do it so well. It's such a well done show, and for me has to be great. Just missing out on Best of Britain, I would say. But yeah, especially if you've been in university or you are in university, you should watch it, as it's so good. Then we've got the IT Crowd, which I'm more teetering on the edge of good and great. I think I didn't really watch the IT Crowd as much as some of the other shows. You know what, I'm going to put it as great. There are some just hilarious one-liners. This is basically about the IT support staff who happen to work on the bottom floor of this business building, and then they get their new associate who has no idea about IT, like my favourite scene from it, where she's like, how do I install a web browser? I mean, you're working for an IT department and you don't know how to do that. But some of the lines are so funny. I love it when they're going on about trying to fit in with other people and like learning some football lingo.
The thing about Arsenal is they always try and walk it in.
So many good moments from the IT Crowd, so for me, it has to be great. I don't know why at the start of this I was saying arguing between good and great. Now I'm thinking back to all the funny moments in it. It's definitely great. Yeah, then we've got Miranda, which I'm going to say is Best of Britain. This show was absolutely hilarious. Miranda Hart is a brilliant comedian. I mean, I've seen her live and she is so funny. If you think Miranda the TV show is funny, go watch her live. You will honestly be in stitches the whole way through. But Miranda the TV show is absolutely fantastic. So much funny, so many hilarious lines.
Wish the ground could have swallowed me up.
It's launched stars like Tom Ellis to do crazy things from there, but for me, Miranda has to be Best of Britain. Then we've got Man Like Mobeen, which I'm going to say has some great moments, but I'm just going to say is overall good. Very short, entertaining episode. You can definitely put this on in the background and have an enjoyable time, but for me, it will just be good. Then we've got Friday Night Dinner, which again, I'm going to say is great. Some absolute hilarious one-liners. Perfect setup, this Jewish family who have a Friday night dinner, obviously because it's special to them on Friday night in the Jewish faith. But as this Friday night dinner goes, it never goes to plan. Then they have the neighbour Jim who's always coming, and there's other guest stars who appear on it. But it is always funny, and it just really is a good family dynamic and a good show for the whole family to watch. So for me, it has to be great. Then we've got Cuckoo, which I'm gonna say is good. I would say it would probably be great had they managed to keep with the cast, but after the first series, the sister and the main star obviously left. They did well to replace Andy Samberg with Taylor Lautner and made it into the story so it fit, whereas the sister character they just replaced and kind of expected you to know that the sister, who is now a different actress, is the same person. Overall, they recovered really well. There were some funny moments. The casting was generally quite good, and there's some pretty all-star casts in there from Greg Davies. Then the mum, who she did appear in Friends as well, but she's a really well-known actress. Some good moments, but for me, it just had to be good because of some of the continuity errors, the changing of actors. It made it hard to follow from one season to the other, and the tone kind of slightly changed. But once you got past that, it was again a really good show. But the reason I'm putting it good rather than great is because of those sorts of things. Then we've got Man Down, which I would say it has some good moments, but overall I'd say probably it's bad. I'd probably say avoid it. It's Greg Davies show again. There are some funny moments, but again, it's kind of all over the place. I would say, so for that reason, I'm gonna put it in bad. But it does have the occasional good moment, which makes you think maybe it should be in good. Then we come to the Inbetweeners, which you already know where I'm putting Best of Britain. This show is amazing, just amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. 4 school lads going through sixth form, getting into some shenanigans, and it's just unbelievable. Everyone who grew up in Britain and watched The Inbetweeners loves it. I don't know anyone who's watched The Inbetweeners and thought this was a bad show, because it's absolutely hilarious. So many good liners you can quote from.
How much Lego can you stuff up your bum?
So many good moments. So many memorable moments. And again, like Gavin and Stacey, this only had 3 series, but it's had 2 movies since. But they are so good. Every single episode is fantastic. All of the 2 movies were brilliant. The acting in it was fantastic. The lines are hilarious. You can't make a show like this today. It just lives in this space where it was unbelievable. Best of Britain, it's gone around the world. It's just a fantastic show, and it really showed a bit of what British culture was like from the time. It's almost like you can watch it and that was British culture at the time. Absolutely love it and rewatch it all the time. So for me, definitely Best of Britain. Switching from the Inbetweeners to the Vicor of Dilly, I mean, that's not a sentence I thought I'd ever say. For me, the Vicor of Dilly was great as well. It was about the Vicar of Dilly, obviously. Basically says it in the title, but it's so hilarious. Dawn French was fantastic as the vicar. So many good moments, so many funny jokes as well of just what this parish life is like. And even if you aren't a religious person, this show is hilarious. So you can watch it if you're a Christian, you can watch it if you're not, and there will be moments for you, all of you, that you will find enjoyable, and some of the jokes are really, really funny. So definitely for me, great. And then finally we have Bad Education, which at its peak I would have said is great, but since they've rebooted it, I would say the reboot stuff is bad. If almost always sure this isn't American, but overall the first 3 seasons redeem it. Where Jack Whitehall is the teacher, that was when it was great, but now they've rebooted it. It's pretty awful. I'd avoid the new series, but if we stick to overall sense, it is good. So that is my tier list of British sitcoms. These were obviously ones that I have seen. There are a few missing, like Only Fools and Horses, but I've only seen the occasional episodes. I didn't want to put that in because I don't feel I could give it a good judgment. But do you agree with my list? Do you not? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments, and let me know your favourite British sitcoms also in the comments. And if you want to try this sitcom tier list out for yourself, then there'll be a link in the description as well. But anyway, you've been watching Gate of Theories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon for a brand new video.